Hey everyone, Average Jen back. I have a few moments where I'm sounding a little bit better, not as sick. I'm still sick because it's the same day. Anyway, coming up next, I have Shinedown, an interview clip I snagged from Brent Smith, and a bit of a song that I really like. So hopefully, this music will help me feel better, and hopefully, it's going to look the same on my screen, but hopefully you enjoy the music too. So let me find this. And there it is. And I will hit play.
Hey there, everyone. I'm excited for today's podcast because I snagged an interview from the Mitch Laffin and Jeremy White show. They interviewed Brent Smith, the lead singer from the band Shinedown. There is explicit language in this episode. Music has always inspired me. I mentioned that people are all connected on a spiritual level. I may not know any of these people, but I can relate to what they have to say. I connect to this song because it talks about the human condition. I really hope they don't come after me for using this. I'm still learning podcasting etiquette, so I'm sorry. And if you would like to support the show, please subscribe and share. Thank you. Also, please click on the link in the show notes to see the or hear the full interview.
You've always been slightly awkward, kind of weird, upside down and not all here. What's wrong with me and you is crystal clear. Sometimes I'm in a room where I don't belong, and the house is on fire and there's no alarm, and the walls are melting too. How about you? I've never been the favorite, thought I seen it all, till I got my invitation to the lunatic ball, and my plans are coming too. How about you? Don't worry, it's all just a symptom of being human. And then you hear Planet Zero, and you hear No Sleep Tonight, and you hear Symptom of a Human Being, and you hear Sure as Fun, you go, motherfucker, what a band. What a band. So that's very kind of you. Seriously, thank you. I seriously, I do not take that lightly. Thank you. Yeah. So let's talk about this, because you are dealing, for the most part, with the human condition. 100%. So talk to me about that. Why not, like from the 80s, girls, 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 fast cars, booze, why take a vested interest in the human condition? I've never been the main lyricist in the band. I've never talked about like fast cars and girls and things like that. It's just never been something that I've done from a musical standpoint. And I love Motley Crue. Yeah. The thing about it is, for me, it's interesting because I've been talking about, for the last 20 years, I've been talking about mental health before it was in the news. Right. There's one element about this band that's very specific, and that does have to do with the audience, whether they've been there from the beginning or they're just kind of trying to figure out who we are and they're just coming into contact with us, if you will. We have one boss in this band, and it just happens to be everybody in the audience. So they've given us a platform to be ourselves, right, and we want them to do the same. So the human condition is something, literally, since I was like, I could form a thought. I mean, it has always interested me, and not even that it's interested me, it's concerned me, because I know that through a lot of different outputs and different people, I'm trying to constantly educate myself, but I know for a fact that as human beings, we also use only about 10% of our brain. And 4% is what some scientists sometimes, yeah, even less.
In this interview, we're using about 1, I think.
Hey, come on now. I would give us at least 3.6.
Yeah, at least.
Think, it's early.
Maybe 4 on a good day.
Yeah. Well, let me just, since we cut you off there, okay. I did a master's in educational psychology, so that mental health thing has always been part of my purview. What drove you to that, to have that as a message come up on multiple albums and on multiple songs? Is it you've struggled with it, somebody in the band struggled with it, your mom struggled with it, and it's just something that you need to talk about to sort of get a cathartic kind of feeling out of it? Or
I've been through. I'm just going to be completely transparent and very upfront with you, gentlemen, and bold about it. I've been through it. I have countless friends of mine that are no longer on this planet because they didn't have somebody to talk to, or they felt like they were going to be embarrassed, or that they were going to be shamed, or people were just going to not understand. And I tell people, the worst thing that you can do if you see somebody in your family or a friend or even a perfect stranger, to be honest with you, or a complete stranger, I should say, the worst thing you could do is stay quiet if you see something is off. And a lot of times people will also say, well, that's none of my business. Well, make it your business, because you could potentially save somebody's life.
I agree. When I see somebody who's suffering, I am willing to lose my friendship by, confronting them and saying, you need help. And if they say, fuck off, it's none of your business, you go, you know what? This is worth me getting involved and telling you something.
And look, I want to give you the other side of that also. I have friends of mine that they did have a breaking point, whether it was psychological or whether it was substance abuse or an addiction issue, which a lot of times it is. They did speak up. They had gotten to a place where they had hit a rock bottom, and they said, I can't do this on my own, and I need help. Yeah. And I have a lot of people that I know that have gone down that route, and luckily they've been able to come back from it, and really have a new lease on life and a new outlook on life. But the thing is, we're in a world right now. It's interesting, man, because people talk about the internet being undefeated. I always tell people, no, it's actually not true. Mother Nature is undefeated, and you have to listen to her. And the dynamic of it also is, not to get too spatial here, but I believe in the universe. I believe that the universe pushes and pulls you in different direction, and you gravitate towards who you're supposed to gravitate towards at certain times, because you're not in complete control of your destiny. You're in control of your destiny, but you have to pay attention to what's going on around you at all times. And, look, when you're younger, you don't think about things when you're in your 20s like you do when you're in your 40s.
50s.
Yeah, or 50s. By the way, you look nowhere near that, and I'm not trying to butter you up, but you don't look anywhere near your age.
Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I'm getting close to 60, so hey.
Well, you don't look anywhere near your age, man. So you're obviously taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
But I just finished a 7-kilometer walk before this interview. But just real quick, Jeremy here, he just did rehab, and we had that conversation a couple of months ago. He was going down the path, and he just said, "What do I do?"
Yeah,
I said, "You got to go."
Yeah,
how long did you go?
Oh, I was at Betty Ford for 30 days, man. Just had to deal with some shit and got through the thing, and just kind of realized you had some, you got some shit that you have to address, and you're kind of self-medicating yourself with different things. And, until you really free yourself of those resentments and suppressed emotions and, general dysphoria that you're living with, I mean, you're not going to be able to live life to the fullest extent that you can live it. And that's pretty much what I had to do. And I mean, that was my story. I mean, everybody around me completely supported me and, saw what I was going through and how I was doing it. And it's funny though, because I mean, you look at this day and age and like there's still stigma around addiction and stuff like that, but there also isn't, because like if you tell somebody that you're having a problem, like the conversations come so far that you can actually talk about it with people that you don't even think you can talk about it with. And that was a bit of an eye opener for me too, because it's when I told like a handful of people about it, they were like, "Oh shit! Well, I didn't know it was that bad." I'm like, "Oh yeah, it was getting pretty bad," and I didn't feel like I could talk about it. And then when you tell them the story of why and how, and the situational stuff, and they're like, "Oh, okay, yeah, it makes sense."
Yeah. And by the way, I don't bring it up to embarrass you. I bring it up because we need to talk about it.
Well, it's not embarrassing to me. I mean, geez, I'm the first person to say like, what's going on? Like, let's talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I look at a lot of times also, when you look at social media and I see the younger generation, I have a 14-year-old son who has an opinion now. But it is important that me and him talk to one another, because one of the elements about raising a teenager too right now is the fact that I have to continuously, and it's my job to do it, and I'm happy to do it as his dad, but always let him and his friends know, I'm like, remember this about that phone that you have. You're in control of the device. Don't allow the device to be in control of you. And that might sound easy with a younger generation, but here's the other thing too. You got to get on their level. Everybody is a work in progress.
In closing, I would like to say that the opinions expressed here were strictly of my own making or by my future guests. Take what you like and leave the rest. You may come to realize that you may not like me or what I want to share. Let's talk to each other, reason things out, but let there be no gossip or criticism of one another. Let the fellowship of ethical human behavior and the serenity from positive human interaction help you grow and chill out, one experience at a time. I would like to thank my higher power for guiding me through this podcast. I hope to spread the message of love, hope, and understanding by touching one life at a time.
Yeah, I like maintenance phase. We're not here to talk about maintenance phase though. Oh, stop sharing screen. There we go. So you see addiction, it doesn't matter if you're rich, if you're poor, if you're famous, it doesn't care. Just like disease, just like sickness, it doesn't care because we're all a human being. Nobody's above being a human being. And it just seems like a lot of us think that, oh, that's not going to happen to me. That's that person. Or this person will never get sick because they got all the money in the world, or whatever the case may be. Just know we're all in the same boat. We're all on the same planet. We all experience human emotions. We're all victim to our devices, whatever those may be. And I think that's about it. There will be more episodes about like recovery and the steps of recovery coming up. I'm not sure exactly what's next because I don't have all my episodes memorized. So I hope you enjoyed this one. It was a little snippet. I take snippets from people and I put them up here. And that's about it. So have a good day. Feeling a little bit better. I suppose I should probably finish getting dressed and enjoy my Friday as much as I can. Bye bye.